Welcome, Chiefs Kingdom. Thanks for tuning in to this Red Kingdom Media production, bringing you raw, authentic Chiefs coverage. Make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on your team. Now sit back and enjoy the show.
This is the Red Kingdom Media Live POSTGAME Show.
Welcome to this weird, strange Saturday, Week 16 edition of the Red Kingdom Media Live postgame show. We are your hosts slash talking heads for this afternoon's conversation. Clinton, Dale, Lonnie, in that order. Your Chiefs are 14-1. They get to sit at home for a little bit, but as soon as this weekend is over, it is straight into the Christmas game in Pittsburgh. So not a long time to really dwell on this game, but your Kansas City Chiefs were able to escape Arrowhead this afternoon with a score of 27-19. Officially going 8-0 in Arrowhead Stadium this year. Perfect undefeated, at least in terms of home games. So shout out to Chiefs Kingdom for cheering our way into a perfect record at home. And let's hope that for the rest of the season after this, once we get into the postseason, the only game the Chiefs are playing not in Arrowhead in the postseason is the Super Bowl. So guys, open it up. The floor is yours. What do you have to say about this 27-19 victory over the Houston Texans?
To be honest, this was a good win. I know throughout some of the couple drives that we've seen in the game from the Chiefs offense, it was like, man, you want them to hit on some of those catches or just not get into those 3-and-out situations or, of course, putting the ball significantly quick. But I think overall, especially when we saw Kareem Hunt out there, I like the production that they provided on that side of the ball. And I think they did I think they did a good job. Put up 27 points, got some turnovers from the defense as well too that helped out a lot with that, but had some questionable coverages in the secondary, but they pulled through and they was able to figure it out. Only gave up 19 points, so looks like they're back to not trying to give teams over 20 points again. But I think going to get up against a playoff team, a team that you might see in the postseason as well too, depending on how it goes and how the seeding is set up as well, you can potentially see them again. So getting that first feel of them, seeing how it goes, it has playoff implications, just because they might not be worried about getting to that first seed, and we have a different focus of getting to that. However, we got to see how they run their offense, what they like to do defensively. What are some things that they might want to carry over? And I think from both head coaches, D'Amico Ryan and Andy Reid, they was filling each other out. But I like the win today. I think they did a great job with that. And hey, shout out to Kareem Hunt coming in, closing it out for us, because I know when we saw Isaiah Pacheco didn't get that 4th-and-1 and he got stopped pretty short, they went back to the veteran, the guy who, of course, being kind of getting most of the touches once Isaiah Pacheco left in week 2. So I was glad to see him be able to step up and be humble and waited for his opportunity to come.
Yeah, I love what I've seen from the Chiefs today. Overall, especially on the offensive side of the ball, I don't think we had a ton of pressure. I know it wasn't the perfect game plan as far as when it came to the offensive line, but I think the Chiefs did good enough on both edges to really set us up offensively. I think better than we have been a lot throughout the season this year. I love what I've seen from my standout that I picked during our Chiefin episode, which is Mr. Hollywood Brown. I think Hollywood Brown had a great showing. This is the first game he's played all year with Mahomes. It's probably one of 2 games that he will get to play with Mahomes during the regular season. And I think he really, really took advantage of it. You can see that the timing is there. I was asking Dale off air, Clinton, what are the rest of these guys doing with Mahomes in the offseason? I mean, because it's like Hollywood Brown instantly comes in and has a connection with Mahomes. Like, I don't know if you guys are like on the couch or like, does anybody else go down to Dallas except for Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce, and Hollywood Brown? I mean, it's like it's second nature, the connection that they have. I love seeing that. I think Juju got in there and did some dirty work today. I seen him lining up at tight end and then fullback. I love what he is. He's such a selfless player. So I love what I'm seeing from the offense overall. It's like a complete buy-in. It was a magnificent side, a magnificent showing on that offensive side of the ball. Now on the defensive side of the ball, I think it was another good showing. We were good enough. I mean, until they lost Tank Dell, I didn't know if we had any answer. I think stuff looked kind of grim there for a second, but I hope Tank is well. I know they said they got him to KU. I hope all our prayers for Tank and a smooth recovery, because that did look very, very gruesome and bad. But until he went out, we didn't have any answers. And when he went out, you see the Chiefs kind of bowed up and had some answers there on defense, and we kind of got some pressure. So once again, I think it was a strong showing from George Karlaftis. We talked about him for the last 2 weeks about how he kind of wasn't showing up, and how Charles Omenihu kind of helped him take off in the Cleveland game against Jameis Winston. He did it again today with pressure, getting his hands on balls, batting balls in the air. I love what I've seen from George Karlaftis. He's going to be a key to our 3P and helping us going a long way. So hats off to those boys on the defensive line and what I see from George Karlaftis and the 21, the young kid in the back end that Tyron shouted out a long time ago. Shout out to him too. Pick. I loved it. Like, he's a dog.
Yeah. I agree with a lot of what you guys said. Before we went on with the show, I said that this was, a more positive game, and you guys were kind of shocked by that reaction. And I think just the reason for my comment about that is, I'm not saying that Chiefs played perfect, and I'm not saying that they don't have things they could do better, and they didn't have mistakes that either side made at any given time. It just really felt like the intensity was dialed up a little bit. I'm not saying we're all the way up at 10 or 11 on the scale, but we might be at least midway. Instead of just kind of the bare minimum effort and barely winning these games against teams, and having that losing record and barely being able to beat them, versus a team that you expect to win their division, and obviously losing their best wide receiver right now could hurt some of those chances. But going into the game is the odds-on favorite to be their division leader, and this was set to be a playoff matchup, and the rest of the Chiefs' schedule really is against AFC playoff teams. So we've made it to a point in the season where the Chiefs are willing to increase the intensity, and it comes around Christmas, and thankfully we didn't have to have an embarrassing loss to be the reason why. But overall, we can get into the specifics on offense and defense like what you guys did. But it was just a more enjoyable game to experience, and a game where both sides of the Chiefs team really felt like they were giving it their all. They didn't have the upper hand all the time, but at the right time, when the matter was the brightest, and you had to make a play or whatever the case may be to ice the game away, the Chiefs were successful in doing so. And I don't know if this would have been one of the tougher matchups on the rest of the schedule, but the Houston team is one that has got a lot of respect. CJ's kind of maybe slumping a little bit this year, but the Texans are a team that is future built, much like the Chiefs are, and a bunch of other teams. So the Texans will be a team that we see again, maybe or maybe not within this playoff cycle. But the Texans really showed their own and look like a team that will be competitive. And in my opinion, the Chiefs finally decided to go full throttle, or at least a couple years, if not all the way to max. But they considered the Texans a worthy opponent as well. and played up to that level, and that's why we got this type of game. So I'm happy with this because it shows me that the rest of this year, the playoffs, the Chiefs are going to be playing these dominant or better, higher up level teams. And so they're going to step their game up versus us kind of left in waiting, whether or not they're willing to make that move. And they played the Bills. It was a game they didn't have to win. So, they definitely did not put all their full energy into it. A lot of the other games against opponents that the Chiefs didn't feel were worthy enough to hang in with them did so by the Chiefs just kind of being lackadaisical. But I think we're finally now the home stretch where we can finally see the results and see that the odds are favoring more way versus overcoming being able to win games. This one, I feel like they can at least close the book on it and leave no doubt that they did and should have won this game, and the results show as such. So, with that being said, which side of the ball you guys want to praise first? I'm open.
You start with the offense.
All right, go for it, Dale.
All right, I mean, on the offensive side of the ball today, them putting up 27 points. Let's be honest, it could have been 34 if Xavier Worthy got that foot down, and it's getting close. That was a hard catch for him, but overall, other than the short possessions that we may have had, I saw a methodical approach to the offense when going downfield. They were, of course, running the ball. They had a nice balance, but they weren't keeping Mahomes out there having deep dropbacks and trying to make him sit in the pocket. They were getting it out to their receivers very quickly. And I think that helped us with getting down the field a little bit quicker as well, too, and moving through the offense a little bit better. So I think overall on the offensive side of the ball, I think this is the recipe to win and something that we can take on going into the postseason. Now with the offensive line, Jawan Taylor went out early. Well, not out early, but towards the end of the second half, going into the fourth quarter, where he was out with a knee injury, and Wanye Morris had to come out there at right tackle. I think overall, before Wanye did come out there at right tackle, I did like the unit of the offensive line, and I like what they had going on. Now, I seen Rob mention earlier in the chat that he would like to see Kingsley probably go in at left guard, and I think that would be a good approach. But I think with them being in the doghouse and what happened, that's why they went into the Caliendo category of like, let's go with Joe Tooney and then have him out there because he have earned his shot. And I think overall, when you see the offensive line, he hasn't really given up as much. I think they would like him to be like, he's been effective in pass rush where they're attacking. He's been holding his own, and then Tooney as well had a great game as well too, not letting too much going up, and he's been competing very well as well. So I think overall, what I saw with the offensive line, this is something we can utilize going in the future. And hopefully Jawan Taylor can get back out there and be healthy, but we didn't see as many pressures as we saw in the previous games. And this was a great pass rush as well from the Houston Texans. Now, they got 2 sacks. I'm not going to say that at all. When you're a good pass rush, you're going to get back there and you're going to have your opportunities as well, too. But when you look at the overall theme of the game, we were getting first downs. We were getting downfield. We put points on the board. We only had 2 punts or so in this game, I believe, as well, too. So we didn't give up turnovers. The reason why you didn't see as many punts from the Houston Texans because we got 2 interceptions on him. So that was our way of flipping the field and getting it back and putting it back into our offense hands. So with people who like the stat watch and everything like that, we got to put context into that as well too. So I think they did their job. Hollywood Brown coming back into the offense as well too. It worked out. It looks like you can see the chemistry between him and Mahomes, and that's going to be needed when it goes down the stretch, and then with a short week going into Pittsburgh as well too on Christmas Day. So if they keep on going, they keep on looking at the film, they got the chance now with that early game playing before the Pittsburgh Steelers as well too. Now they can watch and start their film study a little bit early on and see how it will go further into when we get into that point. But it's one down. We got one more to go, and we secure it. Maybe the Bills lose tomorrow. Who knows? We're not going to count on that. But still, one down. That's all I got on that. But great job from the offense.
Yeah, I love the showing from the offense too. I spoke about it a little bit when we gave our first point. I think they did everything they needed to do today. I mean, Pop didn't have the perfect showing. Not that same juice that we've seen in the past couple games, but it might be the games in in that short turnaround, and it's really doing it to him. We know he's coming back from an injury, so he's battling back. Hunt really channeled the father time again, and got those legs turning, brung that fire, got that juice going. 11 for 55. I mean, 5 point a yard average is kind of crazy in the NFL. So, I mean, dude was out here moving the rock. He was doing what he needed to do. I love what I've seen from Kareem Hunt. Catching the ball out of the backfield, running the ball. If you go back and watch Kareem Hunt when he was wearing big 2.7, that was the same dude. That's the same running back that we got right now. He's just a little bit older, so he probably can't do it for the entire drive. It's probably only going to be like half the drive. But if y'all would have gave this man training camp, and I really want to see him in the playoffs, because we got this extended break. If we can get these wins here, I think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with coming down the stretch here. He's playing like a man amongst boys. Punching it in the red zone, like I told Dale off air. I think that's the key to Andy's red zone efficiency right there. Hand the ball off to Kareem Hunt and get it in every time, as you can see. So I love what I've seen from him, and I get where Rod is coming from, but I think Rod's gripe about that guard situation really might be a little bit of a microcosm of Pacheco not really being able to have the vision that we're used to him having, being that he missed some time because they ran over the left side again to ice the game. And Kareem Hunt was finding space all over there. So Caliendo can't be doing too bad. And Pacheco ran into the same area twice on 3rd and short and then 4th and short and got stacked up in the same area twice. So I just didn't like what I seen overall. I'm not just going to put it on Caliendo, though, over the left guard just because they were running to the left side. They said Jawan Taylor missed a block on one, and I know one was probably just really a good run fit. So I love what I've seen from the Chiefs overall, though. Offensively, as far as the pass game, I think Xavier Worthy, he has to like start getting his feet together. That's the difference between 17 and 21. 21-10 and 17-10 is a big difference because they go down and get a Tank Dell touchdown. If we score a touchdown there, if Xavier Worthy can get his feet down, it's 21-10. They go score a touchdown. That touchdown really doesn't even matter. It's 17-21. We're still up. We're still winning. So, like, Xavier Worthy has to start getting that together as far as knowing where he is on the field, getting his feet down. And he has a great veteran in front of him. DeAndre Hopkins put on yet another show today. We have to acknowledge that as Chiefs Kingdom. What he's doing is nothing short of amazing either. But overall, team play absolutely wonderful. Travis is a little bit older, so we know he's just still doing his thing, getting his catches when he can. But it was a good showing today. Pat didn't get beat up too bad. I loved it.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm satisfied because I think this offense is starting to figure out its identity. Obviously, I don't like Pacheco's role diminishing or the offensive line's misplays at times. But I think overall, this offense is starting to figure out who they want to be and who they showcase at different times. You started to see Xavier Worthy get more touches, some in the just jet sweep role, like just getting him the ball, get a couple yards at a time, trying to still target him downfield, even if they're not connecting, but still delivering that fear. And eventually they will figure it out, and maybe it'll magically be once the divisional round or the divisional round of the playoffs rolls around. But I agree. I think Kareem Hunt is starting to kind of have some extra sea legs under him. And your point about why wasn't he on this team sooner, I think because of just his age and his past, wear and tear, you wouldn't assume that, but I think he's got that extra juice. And in the right moments, I think Andy will realize who the hot hand is. And I don't think that necessarily means an outright benching of Pacheco. I think the 1-2 punch will still be deadly at times. And maybe, to your point, Lonnie, maybe it is just Pacheco trying to still dust some rust off. But it has to be said that one player who's also still did that, but was making himself very shown on the stat sheet was Hollywood Brown. He arguably could have had way more yards, targets, and maybe even escaped for a deep ball, but taking it a little safe, maybe going out of bounds. And I think all of the Chiefs wide receivers throughout like Andy Reid's tenure has pretty much kind of played that way. Maybe because we've always gone the smaller body receivers, or just because of how it's been coached to them. But like, hey, just get the yards you can, get out of bounds, don't take a hit. But on second and medium, they're getting close to third and short, and third and 2 to 5 yards, you know exactly what's happening. You don't know if it's going to be Kelsey or D-Hop or Brown or Worthy, but it's definitely going to one of them on that play, and they're the open target, and they're definitely coming down with it for the first down. So I like that this offense is clicking a lot more. Obviously, they can still have some mistakes, and for the most part, those have been incompletions or a sack. But the Chiefs have been fortunate these last couple of weeks to be on the positive side in the turnover battle, and that continues to be the case in this game. So at the very least, this offense realizes if they just continue to play their game, matriculate the ball down the field, as they say, whether it's got to be 3 or 7, but they now start to feel confident that they can move the ball as many times as needed to win the game. And to your guys' point, the offensive line still needs to be addressed. I almost think it might be a off-season thing, because I would not wonder if one or both of the tackles the Chiefs are playing right now are going to be on either tackle for the Chiefs next year, just because of the efforts and what we've seen. But this is the offensive line the Chiefs are going to have to make it work, whether Joe Tooney stays in at left tackle all the rest of his time. There's talks that G.J. Humphries might be ready to come back for Christmas. So if he is, we'll see if he can survive the rest of that game, and then if he can play in the postseason. But overall, I'm happy that this offense is starting to figure out their identity. A couple wide receivers and some extra tight ends who are showcasing more last maybe first half of the season aren't getting as much of that. And I think that's maybe due to Pat and Andy's choice about getting the ball to their established players. But I think once we get into the playoffs, we're going to still need to a couple targets over here, a couple targets over here, and then nobody except either Worthy on a deep pass that gets a bunch of yards, or Travis with a bunch of receptions. I don't think any player is really going to star for the offense for the rest of the season going forward.
My question to y'all, though, because I'm going to say that real quick before you even go over to the defense. How do y'all really feel about the offensive line without that injury from Jawan Taylor? Because when I evaluated, I was really watching, and at times I was like, he really got time. And it's just like, okay. And, when he scrambles out as well, too, was different from what we saw in previous years. When he had that time to scramble out, he had enough time to move up or move to go towards the sideline and make a play. It was like, okay, it's starting to look a little bit more similar. Now, at times, we gave up sacks. We can go back to the days with Eric Fisher and even Mitchell Schwartz as well, too. Mahomes is a quarterback. He's going to give you a sack or so. That doesn't mean you have them beating this game. It's just his style of play. But when you have Joe Tooney, and this is what I was talking about earlier as well, is he has more fight than Y.A. Morris and Kingsley had on the left side. He has more fight. It's like, you're not going to beat me every time, but I'm going to beat you up. You're going to get irritated, and that's when we're going to capitalize on this drive. So, like, how did you feel overall opposed to the Wanye in, from last year? I mean, from week 33 to 13,
So one thing that stands out to me, and you'll probably have to kind of refresh my memory because all the details and stuff on the field around the second quarter and the third quarter period of time, as the Chiefs were trying to drive down the field and score a touchdown. They eventually did, I think, but they did about 5 rollouts to the right in a row. Was that during the Juwan Taylor injury portion, or was that?
I don't know. It was random. I saw a thing on the Chiefs Twitter. I don't know when he got injured. They didn't even show a replay or nothing.
So
Lonnie, did you peep it at all?
Did somebody else play right tackle? I guess is my question. I didn't. When
Wanye came in.
I didn't notice that he didn't play.
Wanye came in, and I ain't gonna lie, Wanye didn't look bad on the right side, and that was his. We forced him over to the left. He was a right tackle at Oklahoma. Am I lying? And he actually looked cool. So really, it's going back to should y'all have really put when you gave Juwan Taylor that money at left and put him at right? It's starting to kind of show what you should have did with your original mindset. But it didn't look bad. You're right. It didn't look any different when YA went out there and Juwan was gone.
I don't know, but I will say that offensive line wasn't to the point to where we weren't able to do anything offensively. Like we said, this been one, I think the Chiefs' most fruitful offensive performances. They were in the red zone multiple times, had opportunities to score multiple times, and I do think Mahomes holds on to the ball a lot. We all know that in order to make plays the way that Mahomes makes plays, you have to hold on to the ball. It's just like Caleb Williams, just like the rest of these guys, Josh Allen. And with that, sometimes get out of the rush lane, but if they're able to stay disciplined and rush him disciplined, you can sack him very easy. It's really just about standing in front of your man. All you got to do is stand in front of him. He'll probably run into you because he's going to step up. So, and a lot of the sacks happen when he's stepping up. Guys are laying down. You see laying in the middle. He's moving through traffic. So, I do put a lot of the sacks are on him. He does run into a lot of sacks. And it wasn't a bad showing today from Joe Thuney. Joe Thuney is good enough. He's not getting beat clear across his face, around the edge with speed. You've seen him get beat like that one time, and Mahomes felt it, and he was rolling out. So I think they're doing good enough for it to not be noticeable, which is what an offensive line is supposed to do. So.
I just wanted to toot my horn on that a little bit because I was saying when we was going back to this talk, right? And Clinton, you are right. Really, in general, like the offensive line was looking bad when we had Wanye Morris out there at left tackle. They collectively as a group was looking like they was giving up too much, but it's going back to my point where I was making where left tackle was the sole issue because when you're the weakest link on the line, they're looking at you and putting all the pressure on you. And just like when we get over to the defensive side of the ball where Najee Johnson, where like you was calling out, he's always looking like he's trying to figure something out. When you're not in unison with everyone else, you're going to make everyone else fail. But then when you slide the best lineman out there, and then you put in a guy who can just hold his own and guard, because I'm going to be honest, I played on offensive line. It's important, but it's very easy to do your job. I'm not going to lie. And a lot of times you're going to be double teaming and helping. So you just have to be in tune. But as a tackle, you're going to get the most action. Because they're sending their stunts out there. They're going to send the outside linebacker out there as well, too. Or send a blitz. You have to call that out. You have to be in connection with Mahomes. Like, yeah, I see him over here. We're going to have to slide, everybody. We're going to have to slide. Now, we're talking real football. This is not talking stats right now. Everybody who's watching, we're talking real football right now. And the importance of the game of why they look way better. And then you have Hollywood Brown back. And he's about to get his usage ramped up. All right. Every time Clinton starts talking positive, though, it's always a good look for the rest of the season. It's always that one game towards the end of the season. It's like, dang, y'all really didn't upset me that much for real today. He, like the time I told him to stop talking to the child, was like, okay, it's not working. They like, hold on, chill for a little bit. What happened that drive? We scored. I'm not gonna lie. I said, hold on, calm down. Like, we gotta reverse it a little bit. So once he got big positives, I'm telling you, because now he's seen it. I'm not gonna lie, he's seeing it live. He's sitting there. That's why I'm not taking anything away from it. But I'm telling you, it's coming together with the offensive line, though. It's just y'all need to stay healthy. DJ Humphrey's fat. You need to get healthy. Wanye might have to stay on the right. I'm not looking too bad on it. Juwan, it could be cool. It could be fine. It looked right. That's why I just wanted to bring it up.
So it sounds like there's at least a starting 5 offense in the group, regardless of who's at what spot. You feel like the Chiefs can make 5 offensive linemen work for the most part, as long as the 3 guys who are normally in the middle of the offensive line are still there.
Yeah. The core 3.
But Clinton, you didn't hear it. They said that Joe Thuney is one of the most smartest offensive linemen that the Chiefs have. Scored a perfect score on his Wonderlic test. He said he had to.
He's very robotic. He gives off Mitchell Schwartz vibes to me. Like, just does the job perfectly without thinking, and you're just like, nope, you can't stop him. So, I had hoped that his efforts against Myles Garrett last week was more indicative of Myles Garrett's effort and not Joe Thuney not being good at left tackle. But it's like, shoot, if you just need Joe Thuney to play left tackle, I mean, if that's what you got to do for next year is an actual gap year and pick actual good left tackle prospect, I'm fine with that as long as you're comfortable with the results that Joe Thuney's putting out. I mean, the one thing about him not being a tackle normally is his arm length. So as long as that doesn't come back to bite us at some point, but overall, he's pretty consistent, and Mahomes knows that he's not a natural left tackle, so he plays more passively and dances around more.
And Myles Garrett is somebody who's going to beat everybody he goes up against. He's going to beat up Trent Williams. So if I'm a left tackle who's coming out in this game, you're going to win my matchups. But you're not going to expose our guys who usually go out there and give up too much. I'm a veteran. You're going against a veteran. I got my tricks up my sleeve as well, too. And I think that's why we got to – it's Unk football, y'all, for the rest of the season. But the Unk ball is going to be the one that take us far. That's what makes the Chiefs different. We can do a talent. That's why we have enough when we got a smart head coach. Or we can just totally revamp. We'll make it work as well, too. Or we deal with injuries. We got to go get the unks, and they're going to step in, and they just going to old school ball you out. But this was that old school ball that works perfectly with the game.
Right.
Take out a lot of time on the clock. Actually put points on the board. Get stops on defense. We're going to irritate you. That's going to irritate the young guys. There's a young talent that you're going to be playing because they want everything fast. Nah, we about to slow it up. Well, LeBron was doing every year. How he was going? Nah, we about to play my game.
Right.
He'll lose in the finals, but we're going to play my game how I want to play it. And that's what separates the dynasties from the guys who are just trying to come in and try to make their way in the league.
And to add on to positivity talk, we've seen the Chiefs be able to win ugly games, get ugly wins. We've seen the Chiefs in games like this play very mid to average or above average game and be able to win that game. Maybe here in the next 2 weeks, we'll be able to see a dominant or pretty win that allows us to boast and say, yes, there's the Chiefs and there's the Super Bowl caliber team that I was expecting. But Lonnie, I know you're itching to get into this defensive talk because you want to go first dibs. So this defense, we held them, the Texans, to 19 total points. Yeah, should have been 20, missed extra point, whatever. But 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals. Overall, I'm pretty happy with that output. What do you think?
The guy said the same. I'm happy with the output too. Like I said, we didn't have an answer for Tank Dell until he went out. However, I think we are seeing the coming out party, and I'm stealing it from Dell, of Trent McDuffie. I think he has arrived. I think he might be on the scene. I think it's been a Trent McDuffie sighted in not 1 but 2 games. He's getting on the board. I mean, I think he's doing what he was drafted to do. So I love what I seen from Trent McDuffie. But
I don't appreciate that.
Okay, well, yeah, this is defense overall, and I wasn't even gonna go him, but I was just gonna say shout out to 22. He's on the board. But overall, I love what I seen from the secondary, particularly Najee Johnson not throwing up the X no more when you sliding out to. Because I don't even know if you know, but I know I see you every time you do this. You try to confirm the call every single time. I know you doing, and you don't. You shouldn't even be doing that. You should already know the call when the huddle break. But you wasn't doing that. You was actually where you were supposed to be, making good plays on the ball. Spags runs a lot of man coverage, so people are going to use leverage. People are going to get open. They're going to make catches. They're playing all out. It's the Chiefs, so I give you that. But they were there in coverage. They weren't giving a lot up. And then I love what I seen from Joshua Williams. The sack off the edge. That's the only real sack that we had all day. And y'all know Spags, when it's time to dial it up, he's usually dialing it up from one of them corners. He's going to send the DB, especially when he has an athletic quarterback and he feel like none of his linemen can get you on the ground. So like I was telling Dale, it worked against C.J. Stroud, but are you going to get Josh Allen to the ground when it's time for you to go? So that's a bigger body. That's somebody that likes standing there. He'll take a hit. So you better be ready to fire off and go lay him down when you have to. And then shout out to what I see, Drew Tranquil making stops in the run. Him and Leo Chanel do a ton of the dirty work for the defense. And 20 had a big day dude today. He had us a lot of PBUs. He's usually getting picked on. And we usually got to come in here and talk about him. And Clinton's asking questions like, what's up with Justin Reed? And looks like he can't guard a tight end. And we ain't having that conversation today. Actually, 20 was making plays on the ball. So I love what I've seen overall from the entire defense, but in particularly Joshua Williams and Najee Johnson. No miscommunication errors. Loved it.
Yeah, it was a pretty sight. Now I had my frustrations with somewhat of the pass rush today, but they had them flustered a couple times and they was able to force some turnovers as well too, some big interceptions. So shout out to them for that. But Jaden Hicks, he's stepping up. Hey, Justin Reed, he on your tail now. Don't boggles now. I'm just saying he on your tail now. He's like, I'm starting to get in the feel for defense. And we always have it with these young safeties that come in as well, too. They start to understand. And it looks like he does better on tight ends with you as well. But see, with you being a veteran, that's what we did with Tyrann Mathieu when he started to kind of go down a little bit. All right, we're going to push you back a little bit. You're going to be the floater a little bit more often. We're going to have the young guys on them a little bit more. They a little bit more active, a little bit more reactive as well, too. He had a tackle for a loss. So I think from the secondary, they had their moments of getting beat, Joshua Williams as well. But he made up for it. And they had that deep ball. But that could be from not having a significant pass rush as well, too, because he had time to just stand back there and launch it and place it where he wanted to be. Now, it was an unfortunate injury. I don't like that. It was definitely sad. But you can learn from it. And, that's when Clinton got in the chat and he's talking about it, gave up a touchdown as well, too. I was like, yeah. But I will say this, if you see a common trend sometime as well, we usually give up a touchdown quick coming out the half. Now, how we adjust from there is the difference. And they adjusted well, when they had those opportunities. So, I mean, just shout out to them for doing their part. We got a couple pressures out there as well, too. But, they did their thing. They did what they were supposed to do. We had them in third and long situations at times. I don't know what happened to our third down defense, but we have to, of course, ramp that up, get that back up to par, because we need to start forcing more punts. Y'all letting the drive be extended too much when they're capitalizing on a third and long, and that's why you're out there longer, because with you giving up that, now they're gaining the confidence. And we'll have the kickoff rule is up as well. It's not different where you're starting at the 25 or 20. They're at the 30. It's 70 yards. You get across midfield within 20 to 30 yards. We gotta be a little bit smarter. We gotta be smarter on that. But that's just the element of the game. It makes it a lot funner. But I think giving them time is gonna come together. That's what they're wanting. And as long as it's starting to, if they can, of course, feed off of that, build up off of that, they be decent when it comes down to the stretch. But Steven Nelson ain't out there yet, so they must be doing enough right now. At least they must be doing enough right now.
I guess so. And then to to pinpoint Houston's defense. Shout out Eric Murray, former Chief leading tackler for the Texans. It's never a good sign if your safety is their leading tackle in a game. And a lot of games the Chiefs have that's been the case, but not this one in particular. This defense, Chiefs defense, this game for me was very mixed bag. There were plenty of times where there was sacks or throwaways to be had, and instead there was a guy right over the middle. And the Texans, when they were able to throw the ball, was about for 15, 20 yards at a time, it felt like. And that's kind of output you would expect the Chiefs to have, but it was the Texans this game who were very high explosive at those times. Obviously, as soon as Tank Dell got that touchdown, it wasn't as easy, but the Texans nonetheless were still able to kind of throw it to that nickel safety, second, third corner, depending on who it is, depending on what the package is. Sometimes it's a linebacker. But if you're the middle receiver or the tight end on the route, the Chiefs defense has a very difficult time trying to cover you. I'm sure Pittsburgh will keep that in mind. Denver will keep that in mind, and the rest of the playoff teams will keep that in mind. But I agree. Shout out to Trent McDuffie getting on the board for a second interception, proving it wasn't no fluke. Maybe now we can have a consecutive streak now, where now there will be a counter for how many games it will be until Trent McDuffie doesn't have an interception in a game. So we can hype him up the other direction.
Speaking of existence,
that's just giving me more, Arsenal in my bag, where I could start shooting off. Yeah, stop talking about him now. He got everything. Everything you now.
Oh, I was right. Yes, tell me more about how I was right. It's okay.
Hey, I'm going to accept it today. This was for real, before because I know we about to close out, but for real, I think overall this was a good team win. I think this was something that they could work off of, and coming in and looking at what the Ravens and the Pittsburgh game is about to go on. The Ravens is trying to get, of course, they're trying to take that seeding away from the Pittsburgh. They're trying to go ahead in the division themselves. So it's big implications for them. So maybe with a loss that comes in, their bodies being sore, how tough a game that might be, we could have the advantage of that because we know more than likely on Sunday the Bills gonna win. We need one more. So they did their part. This is why Mahomes played today and not Carson Wentz. Y'all see now. Let's leave it. Let's leave it alone. So we'll see how it goes.
Nothing's wrong with his ankle because he took off and run and got a rushing touchdown. So clearly, you just put some pressure on his ankle, and he's like a spring. He just flies up even higher than he ever was before. Lonnie, give us your final take for this game.
Overall, good win. Like what I've seen from both sides of the ball. Strong showing on the offensive side of the ball. Strong enough, I think, for us as fans. I think we watch enough games to say that was a strong offensive performance. It wasn't our best offensive performance that we've seen. We're yet to crack 90 points again, but that has not stopped us from being 14-1. So only thing that really counts is the L and the W. And we got more W's than we do L. So I love what I see from both sides of the ball. Hopefully we can get more healthy on offense, start getting bodies back on defense, going into this long stretch here coming up, and get healthy going into the playoffs, because it's going to be a fun ride. Not only a long ride, but a fun ride, because I think the Chiefs are going to be ready. They showed us that today. When the chips are on the table, when the Chiefs go need one, just like when we're down, like we are 9 times out of 10 in every game that we're in, we go get it. So when it's on the line and it's a game that we need, we're going to go get the win. So I would not rather have any other team. I would not have any other quarterback, any other defensive coordinator, any other head coach. I think that we have all the tools to do it inside of the building. The Chiefs are just going to do that. I mean, like Dale said, the motto is finished now. Go get that win so you guys can get rested. Our unks can get all their patches patched up. Well, because when it comes to the postseason, we need to be ready to rock and go. No more talking about an offensive line, nothing.
Knee braces coming on.
Yeah.
Icy hot on the back. Yeah, we about to chill for 2-3 weeks, and we coming back out there stretching. Y'all gonna be like, oh, string, like we going to work though for the 3P.
Come back looking 26. He left 30, but he came back looking 26. That's
right.
So I think the boys need to get ready, but I love what I've seen from today. As long as they keep winning, we'll be where we want to be.
Agreed. For me, I like the start of the show and the show. I like what I saw because the team knew the competition across from them and played well. And could they play better? Absolutely. Or could they get rid of some mistakes? But just from start to finish, there was way more energy and effort put in this game. A cold Arrowhead game. Got to get that cold wind into your system and get that January into February football back in that we're all growing accustomed to. But enjoy this win. Obviously, enjoy this win today. Enjoy this win tomorrow as I break down this game. But you don't have a lot of time to think about this victory because 4 days from now, Christmas Day, noon Central Time, Chiefs head to Pittsburgh for a Christmas Day game, and we will be there to break that game down afterwards. Maybe we're talking about a clinched first round bye in the playoffs. Who's to say? But gentlemen, this has been a great afternoon. I know a lot of people watching us right now probably got some football to get back to watching, so I won't take any more of your time. Hope you enjoyed spending it with us. And as always, go Chiefs.
Thanks for checking out this update straight from the heart of Chiefs Kingdom. We appreciate your passion, so please leave a like and follow us wherever you tune in from. See you next tailgate, your trusted source for all things Chiefs, Red Kingdom Media.